The city was quiet that evening, unusually quiet for a place usually full of lights, noise, and people. Liam walked down the empty streets, his hands in his pockets, feeling the cold wind brush against his face. The sky above was painted in shades of deep purple and soft orange as the sun began to disappear behind tall buildings. It was one of those moments that made him feel small, like a single dot in a vast moving world. He liked walking alone sometimes. It helped him think, helped him breathe. Liam had always been curious about the unknown. Even as a child, he would spend hours looking at the stars, imagining worlds beyond his own. His friends often called him a dreamer, but he didn't mind. Dreaming had always been his way to escape the ordinary. Today, however, his mind was restless. There was a strange feeling in the air, almost like the city itself was holding its breath. As he turned a corner, he noticed something unusual. A small alleyway, narrow and dark, but from the end of it a soft light glowed. Liam hesitated for a moment. Normally, he avoided places like this, but tonight something pushed him forward, a feeling he could not explain. He walked carefully, each step echoing on the wet pavement. At the end of the alley, he saw her. She was sitting on a low wall, her legs dangling, a soft golden light surrounding her. Her hair was silver, catching the last rays of the sun, and her eyes seemed to shine brighter than anything Liam had ever seen. When she noticed him, she smiled, a smile that felt warm, familiar, and yet completely mysterious. "Are you alone, human?" she asked, her voice gentle but curious. Liam blinked, surprised. The question felt strange, as if it carried a meaning deeper than the words themselves. I guess so," he replied, unsure why he felt compelled to answer. She tilted her head, studying him with an intensity that made his heart beat faster. "I thought so," she said, almost to herself, then laughed softly, a sound that seemed to float in the air like music. Liam took a step closer. Who are you?" he asked, trying to sound calm but failing. "My name is Celia," she said. "I suppose you could say I'm a friend, or maybe someone who has been waiting for you." Liam frowned. "Waiting for me? Why?" Celia smiled again, that same smile that made him feel both nervous and safe at the same time. "Because you have questions, and questions need answers. Not all answers are easy to find, human." The word human made Liam shiver. It sounded strange coming from her lips, like she was something more than a person, something not entirely of this world. He wanted to ask her more, but something in her gaze stopped him. There was a calmness there, a quiet understanding, as if she could see into him. "I've never seen you here before," Liam said finally. "Do you live in the city?" She shook her head. "No, I come and go as I need. I can be anywhere in the world. But tonight, I was here because I felt you needed to see me." Liam frowned again, confusion and curiosity mixing in his mind. "Why me?" Celia's eyes softened, and she looked at him with something that made him feel understood in a way no one else had. "Because you feel alone, Liam. You wonder if someone knows what's inside your heart. And the truth is, many people live in the world and never truly see each other. But I see you." The words were simple, yet they carried a weight Liam could feel in his chest. For a moment he forgot the cold wind, the empty streets, the distant hum of the city. All he could see was Celia, sitting there like a beacon of light in the darkness. I don't know what to say," Liam admitted. "You don't have to say anything," Celia replied. "Sometimes words are not needed. Sometimes presence is enough." Liam sat down on the edge of the wall near her. The golden light around her seemed to grow slightly, warming him even though the night was cold. He felt a strange sense of comfort, a feeling he hadn't experienced in a long time. Do you ever get lonely?" he asked after a while, his voice quiet. Celia looked at him and smiled gently. "Loneliness is part of existence, human. Everyone feels it, even those who seem surrounded by friends or family. But the important thing is to recognize it, to understand it, and to let it guide you to what you truly need." Liam listened, fascinated. Her words were simple, yet they carried a wisdom he could not ignore. It was as if she had lived many lifetimes, seen countless places, and yet had chosen to speak to him in this quiet alley. "Why me?" he asked again, unable to stop himself. "Because you are ready," Celia said, her eyes twinkling. "Ready to see the world differently. Ready to understand things most humans never do. You are curious, Liam. You seek answers, and that is rare." Liam swallowed hard. He wanted to ask her more, but a sudden thought struck him. "Are you real?" Celia laughed softly, a sound like wind chimes in a gentle breeze. I am as real as you are willing to see, human. Some people walk through life without noticing the truth that surrounds them. Others, they see and they wonder. You are one of the latter. The air seemed to shift and Liam felt a strange energy around him. It was not frightening, but it was unlike anything he had ever experienced. He looked into Celia's eyes again, and for a moment he felt as if he could see the world through them, a world filled with light, mysteries, and endless possibilities. I want to understand, Liam said finally. Celia nodded. Then you will. But understanding is a journey, not a moment, and every journey begins with a single step. Liam felt a mix of excitement and fear. He did not know what she meant or where this journey would lead, but something deep inside him urged him to follow her, to trust her. Will you help me? He asked quietly. I will, Celia said, her smile growing. But remember, human, the journey is yours. I can guide, but you must walk the path. Liam nodded, feeling a strange courage rising within him. For the first time in a long while, he did not feel completely alone. Even though the streets were empty and the city seemed quiet and distant, he knew he was not truly alone anymore. Celia stood up gracefully, her silver hair catching the last rays of sunlight. She held out her hand to him. Come, she said. The world is larger than you think, and tonight is only the beginning. Liam hesitated for a moment, then reached out and took her hand. The moment their fingers touched, he felt a warmth spread through him, a spark of something unfamiliar yet comforting. It was not magic, he realized, not in the way people spoke of it in stories, but something just as powerful, an understanding, a connection, a promise of discovery. Where are we going? He asked, his voice a mix of curiosity and awe. To places you have never imagined, Celia replied, smiling. To truths hidden in plain sight. To moments that will change how you see everything. Are you ready, Liam? He looked at her, and despite the uncertainty, he nodded. I'm ready. Celia's smile widened, and she led him out of the alley, into the streets now glowing softly under the streetlights. The city no longer felt empty. It felt alive in a way he had never noticed before. Every shadow, every light, every sound seemed to carry meaning. And as they walked together, Liam realized something he had never understood fully before. Sometimes, being alone was not about being by yourself, but about finding the right person to walk beside you. And in that moment, Liam understood why she had appeared, why she had asked that strange, simple question. He was not just alone. He had been waiting to be seen, waiting for someone to smile and tell him that he was not invisible in the world. And Celia had smiled. The streets were quieter than Liam had ever seen, but with Celia by his side, the city felt alive with hidden energy. The glow of the streetlights reflected off the wet pavement, creating paths of gold that seemed to guide them. Liam tried to focus on each step, but his mind was buzzing with questions. Who was Celia really? How did she know so much about him? And most importantly, where were they going? Celia walked with ease, her silver hair flowing behind her like a soft river. She moved as if she belonged to the city, yet not completely. Her presence was gentle yet commanding, a mixture that made Liam feel both curious and safe. He took a deep breath and decided to ask the first question that had been pressing on his mind. Celia, why me? There are so many people in the world. Why did you choose to come to me? Celia glanced at him and smiled softly. Because you are ready, Liam. You have questions that go beyond what most people ask. You see the world differently, even if you do not realize it yet. And when someone is ready, the world finds a way to show them what they need. Liam frowned. But I'm just me. I don't understand why that matters. That is the beauty of it, Celia replied. Being yourself is the key. Most humans spend their lives trying to be what they are not, ignoring what makes them unique. You do not, and because of that, you can see things others cannot. They continued walking, their footsteps echoing softly in the night. Liam noticed that the city seemed quieter than usual, almost as if it were waiting for something. The usual sounds of traffic, distant voices, and footsteps were muted, leaving only the soft whisper of the wind. It felt surreal, like they had stepped into a world slightly out of sync with reality. Where are we going? Liam asked again, unable to hold back his curiosity. Celia's eyes sparkled as she replied, To a place that will answer some of your questions but also create new ones. It is not dangerous, but it is different. You must keep an open mind. Liam nodded, feeling a mix of excitement and nervousness. He trusted Celia, though he barely knew her. Something in her presence made him feel that following her was the right choice, even if he didn't fully understand why. They turned down a narrow street that Liam had never noticed before. At the end of it was a small wooden door tucked between two larger buildings. It looked ordinary, almost forgotten, yet the light spilling from its edges suggested something special inside. Celia reached out and pushed the door open, and a soft golden glow filled the alleyway. Liam stepped inside cautiously. The room was small, but it was unlike anything he had ever seen. The walls were lined with shelves filled with books, small objects that seemed to hum with energy, and jars containing tiny lights that danced and moved like fireflies. In the center of the room was a round table, and on it lay a map of stars, planets, and places Liam had never heard of. "Welcome," Celia said, her voice gentle. "This is a place where the world speaks, where you can begin to understand the truths hidden from ordinary eyes." Liam's eyes widened as he looked around. "It's incredible." "What is this place?" "It is a sanctuary," Celia explained. "A place where knowledge, curiosity, and discovery come together. Not everyone can find it, and not everyone is meant to. But you are here, and that means you are ready to see." He moved closer to the table, studying the map. The stars seemed to shift as he looked at them, forming patterns he had never noticed before. Some of the planets glowed softly, while others were connected by lines that pulsed with light. He felt a strange sensation, as if the map was alive, as if it was speaking directly to him. Celia noticed his fascination and smiled. "This map shows more than just stars and planets. It shows connections, paths that lead to understanding, moments that shape destiny, and choices that change everything. You will learn to read it, but first you must feel it." Liam nodded slowly. "Feel it? How do I do that?" "By letting go of what you think you know," Celia replied. "By opening your mind and your heart. The world has many layers, Liam. Most people only see the surface, but there is depth in everything, even in the smallest moments. If you can feel it, you will begin to understand." He closed his eyes, trying to sense the energy Celia spoke of. At first, he felt nothing but the soft warmth of the room and the gentle glow of the lights. Then slowly he noticed something more. A rhythm, a flow, a quiet hum that seemed to connect everything in the room. The books, the jars of light, even the map on the table, they all seemed to pulse together like a single heartbeat. "It's alive," Liam whispered. "In a way, yes," Celia said. "Not alive like you or I, but alive in spirit. Everything in the universe has a voice, a story, and a purpose. Most humans cannot hear it, but you can begin to listen." Liam opened his eyes, feeling a strange sense of clarity. He looked at Celia, who watched him patiently. "I think I understand. A little. That is all that is needed for now," she said. "Understanding comes in pieces. Each piece leads to another, and before you know it, you will see the bigger picture. But first, you must take your first lesson." She reached for a small glowing orb on the table and handed it to Liam. It was warm to the touch, and as he held it, he felt a wave of calm and focus wash over him. The light inside the orb shifted, showing images of places, people, and moments he did not recognize, yet somehow felt familiar. "This orb will guide you," Celia explained. "It will show you visions of what is possible, what has been, and what could be. You may not understand everything at first, but trust what you feel. The orb will speak to your heart." Liam held the orb carefully, feeling its warmth spread through his body. He saw flashes of forests, oceans, mountains, and cities he had never visited. He saw people smiling, helping each other, and moments of kindness and courage. He felt emotions he could not name, but that filled him with hope and wonder. "Do you see?" Celia asked softly. "The world is full of stories, full of connections. Some are visible, some are hidden, but all are important. You are part of this, Liam. You always were, even if you did not know it." Liam nodded, overwhelmed by the images and feelings. I don't know what to say." "This is amazing," Celia smiled. "You do not need to say anything. Just feel, let it guide you. And remember, the journey is just beginning. There is much to see, much to learn, and much to understand. But you are not alone anymore." For the first time in his life, Liam felt a deep sense of belonging, not just to the world around him, but to something larger, something unseen yet real. He realized that his loneliness had not been about being alone in the city or the world. It had been about waiting for the right moment, for the right person, for the right understanding to arrive. And Celia had brought that understanding. They spent hours in the sanctuary, Liam holding the orb and watching its visions while Celia guided him gently, explaining the feelings, the connections, and the hidden stories behind each image. Time seemed to stretch and fold around them, yet Liam did not notice. He was completely absorbed, completely present, and completely alive in a way he had never been before. Eventually, Celia placed her hand lightly on his shoulder. "It is enough for tonight," she said. "The world outside may seem ordinary, but you have begun to see its layers. Rest now, and when you wake, the journey will continue. There are paths you must follow, lessons you must learn, and wonders you must discover. But for now, rest." Liam nodded, feeling a sense of peace he had never felt before. As they stepped out of the sanctuary, the city seemed different. The lights were brighter, the shadows deeper, and every sound carried meaning. The streets were no longer empty. They were full of life, full of possibility, full of hidden stories waiting to be discovered. As they walked together under the soft glow of the streetlights, Liam realized something important. The journey Celia had promised was not just about seeing the world differently. It was about seeing himself differently. And with that understanding, he knew that he was ready for whatever lay ahead. Celia glanced at him, her eyes sparkling in the night. "Are you ready for tomorrow?" she asked. Liam smiled, feeling a courage and excitement he had never known. "Yes," he said. "I am ready." And with that, they continued walking through the quiet city, two figures connected by curiosity, trust, and the promise of discovery. The night seemed endless, yet full of hope, and Liam knew that his life would never be the same again. The next morning, Liam woke to the soft sunlight streaming through his window. For a moment, he felt disoriented, as if the previous night had been a dream. But when he reached for the orb, still warm and glowing softly on his bedside table, he knew it had been real. His heart raced with anticipation. Today, he thought, would be different. Celia was already waiting outside, standing under a tree in the quiet park near his apartment. The silver of her hair glimmered in the morning light, and her smile was calm and inviting. Liam took a deep breath and stepped out, feeling a mixture of nervousness and excitement. "Good morning, Liam," Celia said softly. "Are you ready to continue?" "I think so," he replied, trying to match her calmness. "But I still don't fully understand everything." "You don't need to understand fully yet," Celia said, placing her hand lightly on his arm. "Understanding comes with experience, with seeing, with feeling. Today you will see more, and that is enough for now." They walked together through the park, the soft rustle of leaves and distant bird songs creating a peaceful atmosphere. Liam noticed things he had never paid attention to before: the pattern of sunlight through the branches, the way the wind made the grass ripple like waves, the small footprints of birds and animals hidden in the soil. He realized that the world he thought he knew was full of small wonders he had overlooked. "Look closely," Celia said, stopping near a small pond. "Not everything is obvious at first. Some things require attention, observation, and patience. The world speaks in whispers as much as it speaks in shouts." Liam leaned closer to the water, noticing tiny ripples that reflected the sunlight in strange patterns. He watched a small fish swim beneath the surface, its movements smooth and deliberate. Suddenly he understood something Celia had been hinting at. Everything had a rhythm, a purpose, a story, even the smallest creatures. He turned to her. "I think I understand a little more. Even the small things. They matter." Celia nodded, her smile gentle. "Exactly, Liam. Everything matters. And everything is connected. What you see, what you feel, even what you think, all create paths that lead to understanding. That is the first step of the journey." As they continued walking, Celia led him to a narrow alleyway he had never noticed before. At the end of it, a small hidden door waited for them. Unlike the sanctuary from yesterday, this door looked plain, almost ordinary. Celia pushed it open, and Liam felt a soft warmth escape, wrapping around him like a blanket. Inside, the room was simple but filled with a quiet energy. Soft glowing symbols floated in the air, each one shifting and changing in patterns that seemed to respond to Liam's movements. The walls were lined with mirrors, but these mirrors did not simply reflect the room. They reflected possibilities, choices, and visions of what could be. "Today, you will learn about paths," Celia explained. "Every choice creates a path, and every path leads to something new. Some paths are clear, some hidden, some are easy, and some require courage." She held out her hand, and a small path of golden light appeared on the floor, leading toward the center of the room. "Follow this," she said. The path will guide you, but remember, it will also challenge you. You must trust yourself and your instincts. Liam took a deep breath and stepped onto the glowing path. The moment his foot touched the light, he felt a strange sensation like walking on air and water at the same time. The symbols in the room swirled faster, and the mirrors reflected different versions of himself. Some brave, some doubtful, some joyful, some afraid. "This is part of understanding," Celia said softly. "You must face yourself in every form. Accept each version and learn from them. Only then will you see the world clearly." Liam focused on the reflections. The versions of himself seemed almost alive, each moving independently, showing him moments from his life and moments he had not yet experienced. He saw times when he had been kind, moments when he had been afraid, and times when he had doubted himself. Each reflection whispered softly, offering advice, encouragement, or questions that made him think deeper. At first, Liam felt overwhelmed. He wanted to look away, to run, but Celia's calm presence reminded him to stay. He took a deep breath and faced each reflection. He nodded to the versions of himself that had made mistakes, smiled at the ones that had been joyful, and listened to the ones that asked questions he had never thought to ask. "Good," Celia said. "You are learning. Each reflection teaches you something about yourself. The world is not only about what happens outside, it is also about what happens within." Liam continued walking along the golden path, feeling a sense of clarity grow inside him. He realized that his thoughts, his feelings, and his choices were more powerful than he had ever imagined. Each step he took on the path felt like a step toward understanding not just the world but himself. After what felt like hours, the path ended at a small pedestal in the center of the room. On it rested a tiny glowing crystal. Liam approached it carefully. The crystal pulsed with a soft light, and when he touched it, a vision appeared before his eyes. He saw a vast forest filled with sunlight, a river that sparkled like diamonds, and creatures of all kinds living in harmony. "This is one of the paths," Celia explained. "A path of balance, of harmony. It shows what is possible when choices are made with awareness and care. But every path has challenges, Liam. You must decide how to walk it." Liam felt a mixture of awe and responsibility. He had never imagined that the world could be so alive, so interconnected, and that his actions could have such meaning. He realized that understanding was not something that could be taught. It was something that had to be experienced, felt, and chosen. "Am I ready?" he asked quietly. Celia smiled. "You are ready. But being ready does not mean the journey will be easy. It means you are willing to try, to learn, and to grow. That is what matters most." Liam nodded and took a deep breath. He focused on the vision of the forest, imagining himself walking through it, feeling the sun on his face and listening to the sounds of life all around. The crystal pulsed in response, as if acknowledging his choice. "See?" Celia said softly. "The world responds to those who are aware, who are present, and who choose to walk with intention. You are learning, Liam, and this is only the beginning." They left the room together, stepping back into the quiet streets of the city. The sunlight had grown stronger, and the world outside seemed ordinary, yet Liam knew it was different. He could feel the connections, the hidden paths, and the energy that flowed through everything. "Will every day be like this?" he asked, still holding the orb. "Not exactly," Celia replied. "Some days will be quiet, some challenging, some joyful, and some full of surprises. But every day will teach you something new if you are willing to see it." Liam smiled, feeling a sense of excitement he had never known before. He realized that the loneliness he had felt for so long was not gone, but it had changed. He was no longer alone in the sense that mattered. He had someone to guide him, to help him see, and to walk beside him through the hidden layers of the world. As they walked through the city, Liam noticed small things he had never seen before: a child helping another, a bird building a nest, an old man feeding pigeons. Each moment seemed to carry meaning, each action connected to something larger. He understood now that the journey Celia had promised was not only about discovering the unknown, but also about seeing the ordinary with new eyes. "Tomorrow, we will go further," Celia said as they reached a quiet bridge over a small river. "You will see things you have never imagined, and you will begin to understand the deeper connections of the world. But for now, rest and reflect. The lessons you have learned today will grow in your mind and heart." Liam nodded, feeling a warmth spread through him. He knew that the journey ahead would be challenging, but he also knew that he was ready. For the first time he felt truly connected, not just to Celia, but to the world around him, to the paths he would choose, and to the possibilities that awaited. As the sun began to set, painting the city in golden light, Liam felt a sense of calm and hope. He had seen the first paths, faced reflections of himself, and felt the hidden energy of the world. And he knew that with Celia by his side he would continue to discover, to learn, and to understand in ways he had never imagined. And in that moment Liam smiled, finally understanding that the world was far larger and more beautiful than he had ever believed, and that he was no longer truly alone. The morning air was crisp and fresh, carrying the faint scent of flowers and earth. Liam felt a mix of excitement and nervousness as he stepped outside, the orb glowing softly in his hand. Celia was waiting near the edge of a small park, her silver hair shining in the early light. Her smile greeted him like a warm promise. "Are you ready for today?" Celia asked, her eyes sparkling with quiet energy. "I am," Liam replied, trying to steady his racing heart, "but I feel like there is so much I still don't understand." "That is okay," Celia said softly. "Understanding is not a single moment. It grows with every step, every choice, every observation. Today you will see more of the hidden world, but it is not only about seeing. It is about feeling, learning, and connecting." They walked together toward the outskirts of the city, where the buildings grew smaller and nature began to reclaim the land. Trees lined the streets, their leaves shimmering in the sunlight, and birds sang songs that Liam had never really noticed before. The city behind them seemed distant, almost unreal, as if they were stepping into another world entirely. Celia led him to a small, winding path that disappeared into a dense forest. The trees towered above them, their branches forming a canopy that filtered the sunlight into soft golden beams. Liam felt a sense of calm as they walked, the sounds of the city replaced by the gentle rustling of leaves and the occasional bird call. "This forest is special," Celia explained. "It exists between worlds, between realities. Not everyone can enter it, and not everyone who enters can perceive its truths. But you are ready, Liam. That is why you are here." Liam glanced around, taking in the soft glow of the forest. Tiny lights floated among the trees like fireflies, but they seemed to pulse in rhythm with his heartbeat. He felt as if the forest were alive, observing them, guiding them, and welcoming them at the same time. "Do you feel that?" Celia asked. "Yes," Liam said softly. "It's different. Like the forest is aware." "Exactly," Celia replied. "Everything in this place has energy, purpose, and story. You must learn to listen and understand, not just with your ears or eyes, but with your heart." As they walked deeper into the forest, Liam noticed a small stream. The water was crystal clear, reflecting the golden light that filtered through the trees. He knelt down to touch it, and as his fingers brushed the surface, ripples spread outward, revealing visions within the water. He saw a village filled with people helping each other, children laughing as they played, and elders teaching lessons with patience and care. He saw moments of kindness, courage, and selflessness, each connected like threads in a tapestry. "This is part of the hidden world," Celia explained. "It shows what is possible when humans act with awareness and heart. Every choice, every action creates ripples. Some are small, some large, but all are important." Liam nodded, feeling a deep sense of awe. "It's beautiful," he whispered. "It is," Celia agreed. "But it is not only beauty you will see. There is also challenge, confusion, and difficulty. Understanding the world means seeing everything, not just what is easy or comfortable." They continued walking, following the stream until it led them to a small clearing. In the center stood a circle of stones, each glowing faintly with soft, shifting colors. Liam stepped closer, feeling a gentle pull toward the circle as if it were calling him. "This is a place of reflection," Celia said. "Here, you will confront questions you may have avoided, fears you have hidden, and desires you have not yet understood. The stones will guide you, but you must step forward on your own." Liam took a deep breath and stepped into the circle. The moment his foot touched the center stone, the colors shifted, forming shapes and images that reflected moments from his life. He saw times when he had been uncertain, moments when he had doubted himself, and times when he had felt lonely. He saw faces of people he cared about, places he had been, and choices he had made. At first he felt overwhelmed. The images moved quickly, almost like a whirlwind of memories and possibilities. But as he focused, he began to see patterns. The moments were connected, each leading to the next, showing him how his actions and thoughts had shaped the life he had lived and the path he was beginning to follow. "You are learning to see yourself," Celia said softly, her voice calm and reassuring. "This is as important as seeing the world around you. Understanding yourself is the key to understanding everything else." Liam nodded, feeling a warmth in his chest. He realized that the loneliness he had carried for so long was tied to his own uncertainty, his lack of trust in himself and the world. But now, with Celia guiding him, he could see the connections, the lessons, and the possibilities. After some time, the stones quieted, and the images faded. Liam stepped back, feeling lighter, as if a weight had been lifted from his shoulders. He looked at Celia, who smiled and held out her hand. "You have done well," she said, "but there is more to see. The forest has many secrets, and each will teach you something new. Are you ready to continue?" Liam took her hand, feeling a surge of courage. "Yes, I am ready." They walked together, following a narrow path that led deeper into the forest. The trees grew taller, the shadows longer, and the light dimmer, yet Liam did not feel afraid. He felt guided, protected, and alive in a way he had never known. Eventually, they reached a small hill, and at the top stood an ancient tree, its trunk wide and strong, its branches reaching high into the sky. The tree glowed faintly, and Liam felt a powerful energy radiating from it. "This is the heart tree," Celia explained. "It holds the wisdom of the forest and the memories of all who have walked its paths. If you listen carefully, it will speak to you." Liam approached the tree and placed his hand on the trunk. Immediately, he felt a wave of energy flow through him, connecting him to the forest, the stones, the stream, and even the city beyond. Images, feelings, and knowledge flowed into his mind, not as words, but as understanding. He saw the hidden connections between people, places, and moments. He felt the pulse of life, the rhythm of the world, and the importance of each choice. "It is amazing," Liam whispered. "I can feel everything. I can see connections I never noticed before." Celia nodded. "This is the gift of awareness. It shows you the world as it truly is, not just what you see, but what exists beneath the surface. You are learning, Liam, and the journey is only beginning." Liam spent hours by the heart tree, absorbing its wisdom, feeling the energy of the forest, and reflecting on the lessons he had learned. He realized that the world was far larger and more intricate than he had ever imagined, and that his life, his choices, and his actions were part of a much bigger story. As the sun began to set, casting long shadows across the forest, Celia took his hand. "It is time to return," she said. "The world outside will seem ordinary again, but you now see it differently. Keep this awareness close and remember the lessons of the forest. They will guide you in ways you cannot yet imagine." They walked back through the forest, the glow of the stones and the stream fading behind them. Liam felt a quiet joy, a sense of accomplishment, and a deeper understanding of himself and the world. He knew that challenges lay ahead, but he also knew that he was no longer alone. Celia had shown him the hidden paths, the reflections of himself, and the connections that tied everything together. When they reached the city again, the streets looked the same, yet Liam knew they were not. He could feel the hidden energy, the small moments of kindness, and the potential for discovery all around him. He looked at Celia and smiled. "Thank you," he said softly. I think I understand more now. Not everything, but enough to know the world is bigger than I thought." Celia smiled and squeezed his hand. "That is all anyone can hope for, Liam. Understanding grows with time, and you are walking the right path. Tomorrow will bring more lessons, more discoveries, and more opportunities to see the world and yourself more clearly. But for now, rest and reflect. The journey continues." Liam nodded, feeling a sense of peace he had never felt before. The city around him was alive with unseen energy, hidden paths and possibilities waiting to be discovered. And with Celia by his side, he knew that he was ready for whatever lay ahead. As the night fell, Liam looked up at the stars, feeling a connection he had never known. The journey was far from over, but he finally understood something important. Being truly seen, guided, and understood could change everything. And with that understanding, he was ready to face the next chapter of the hidden world Celia had revealed. The next morning, Liam woke with a feeling of anticipation he could not explain. The events of the past days seemed both dreamlike and real. The orb rested beside him, glowing faintly, as if inviting him to continue the journey. Today, he thought, would bring answers he had been searching for, answers that went beyond the lessons, the reflections and the hidden paths. Celia waited for him at the edge of the park, her silver hair catching the first rays of the sun. She smiled warmly, a smile that felt like a promise and a question at the same time. "Good morning, Liam," she said softly. "Are you ready to see the world and yourself more clearly?" "I am," Liam replied, feeling a mixture of excitement and nervousness. "I feel like I understand more than before, but I still have questions." "So many questions. That is good," Celia said. "Questions are the first step toward truth. But today, some questions will be answered, and some answers will lead to new questions. Are you ready for that?" Liam nodded. "Yes, I'm ready." They walked together toward the outskirts of the city where the streets faded into hills and meadows. The morning sunlight painted the land in gold and green, and the air was fresh with the scent of earth and flowers. Liam noticed things he had never truly seen before. The movement of insects, the pattern of shadows on the grass, the way the wind made the leaves dance. Everything seemed alive, connected, and full of meaning. "Do you feel it?" Celia asked, walking beside him. "Yes," Liam said softly. "It's like the world is speaking and I can hear it." "That is right," Celia replied. "Every being, every object, every moment has energy, purpose, and story. Humans often miss this because they look without seeing and listen without hearing. But you are learning to feel. That is why you are here." They reached a small hill that overlooked a valley, the view breathtaking. Liam could see a river winding through the land, forests stretching far and wide, and mountains in the distance. The sight was beautiful, yet he noticed something he had never paid attention to before. Subtle patterns in the landscape, connections between places and life, movements that told a story of harmony and balance. "This valley is alive in ways most people cannot see," Celia explained. "It shows the balance of life, the choices made by those who live here, and the connections that hold everything together." "Do you understand what I mean?" Liam nodded slowly. "I think so. It's like everything is connected and every small action matters." "Exactly," Celia said, her smile gentle. "The world is full of stories, but the most important story is the one you live and the one you choose to create. Your choices, your kindness, your courage, they all create ripples that reach far beyond what you can see." Liam felt a warmth in his chest as he absorbed her words. He thought of the reflections he had faced, the stones in the forest, the heart tree, and the orb. He realized that everything Celia had shown him was guiding him to this understanding, that he was never truly alone, not because of another person, but because the world itself was alive, connected, and aware, and he was part of it. Celia held out her hand, and a path of soft golden light appeared, leading down into the valley. "Come," she said. "The final lesson awaits. It is not easy, but it is beautiful. You will understand why I asked you if you were alone." Liam took her hand, feeling a mixture of courage and curiosity. Together they descended the path, the golden light illuminating their way. As they walked, the valley seemed to respond, the grass bending toward them, the water in the river shimmering brighter, and the air filled with a gentle, harmonious sound. At the center of the valley, they reached a small clearing where a crystal-clear lake reflected the sky perfectly. The surface of the water seemed to ripple with energy, showing visions that moved and changed with every glance. Liam felt drawn to the lake, sensing that the answers he had sought were waiting there. "Look closely," Celia said softly. "This lake shows the truth hidden in plain sight. It will reveal what you need to understand, if you are willing to see it." Liam knelt by the water, watching the reflections shift. He saw moments of his life he had forgotten, the choices he had made, the small acts of kindness, the times he had felt alone. Then he saw something more. Visions of people he had never met, places he had never been, and paths that stretched far beyond his imagination. And in the center of it all, he saw Celia smiling, watching him and guiding him. Suddenly, everything became clear. The question she had asked on the first night, "Are you alone, human?" was not just a question. It was a mirror that reflected his own heart, his own fears, his own hope. He realized that he had never been truly alone because life, connection, and understanding had always been around him. He just had not seen it until now. Celia reached out and touched his shoulder. "Do you understand now?" she asked gently. "You were never alone, Liam. You were waiting to be seen, to be guided, and to understand your place in the world. And now you do." Liam looked at her, tears of joy and relief forming in his eyes. "I understand," he whispered. I was never alone. Not really, I just didn't know how to see it. Celia smiled, her eyes filled with warmth. That is why I smiled the first time we met. Because I knew you would understand eventually. You were ready, and now you see. For a long moment they sat together by the lake, the water reflecting their quiet presence. Liam felt a deep peace settle over him. The loneliness that had once weighed heavily on his heart had vanished, replaced by understanding, connection, and a sense of purpose. He realized that being seen, being understood, and seeing the hidden truths of the world was a gift beyond measure. The journey does not end here, Celia said softly. Life will continue to show you paths, challenges, joys, and lessons. But now you are ready to walk them fully awake, fully aware, and fully connected. Liam nodded, feeling a quiet courage within him. I understand, he said. And I am ready for whatever comes next. Celia stood, extending her hand to him. Then come, human. Walk the world with open eyes, open heart, and an understanding of the hidden connections. Remember, you are never truly alone. He took her hand, feeling a warmth and certainty that filled him with strength. Together they walked from the lake, back through the valley and toward the city, the golden light of the path guiding their way. Liam felt the energy of the world flowing through him, the lessons he had learned shaping the way he would see and live his life. As the city came into view, it seemed ordinary, yet Liam saw it differently. He noticed the small acts of kindness, the hidden beauty in everyday life, and the connections that tied everything together. The people, the places, and the moments were all part of a larger story, and he understood that he was a part of it too. Celia released his hand, standing quietly beside him. Do you see now, Liam? She asked. The world is full of wonder, connection, and understanding, and it was waiting for you to see it. I see, Liam said, smiling through tears. I see everything now. Thank you, Celia, for showing me, for helping me understand. She smiled softly, her eyes glowing with a quiet joy. You understood because you were ready. I only guided you. The world itself did the rest. And now you can continue your journey with eyes and heart open. Liam looked around at the city, the people, and the world. For the first time he felt completely alive, completely present, and completely connected. He realized that his life would never be the same, that every moment, every choice, and every connection mattered more than he had ever known. And as he looked at Celia one last time before she disappeared into the soft light of the morning, he finally understood the truth behind her smile. It was not just a greeting, it was a promise, a question, and an answer all at once. He had been seen, understood, and guided, and in that understanding, he had discovered that he was never truly alone. Liam took a deep breath, feeling the warmth of the world and the presence of connections he could not always see, but now knew existed. The journey of life would continue, full of lessons, surprises, and discoveries, but he was ready. He would walk it fully awake, fully aware, and fully connected, carrying the understanding Celia had gifted him in his heart. And with that realization, Liam smiled, a smile of gratitude, hope, and deep understanding. The world stretched endlessly before him, alive with possibilities, and he knew finally why she had asked him that first question, and why her smile had made all the difference. He was never alone.